Shabbat Shalom, my Shalomi homies. It is yet another joyous Shabbat that we get to share together out here in the vast wilderness of Arklatexa. Thank you for turning my page, Most High. We are in Genesis 35 in Los Scripturos. Can you see that? There you go. The scriptures. I am deeply encouraged by all of y'all that continuously reach out to me and tell me that you are playing along in the home game, that you do have your Bibles out, that your better half is sitting next to you reading along with you, that for whatever reason that the creator of the universe decided to compel me to read these words to you is having an effect on your life, a positive effect on your life. I could not be more humbled by that. I count it a blessing that part of what I do with my life is this. And I'm thankful that you are there to do this with me. Maybe one day you will be here to do this with me. And I'm really joyful that, the creator of the universe and there no thing was made, right, without him. By him all things were made. Was like, I'm gonna take that wretched soul, I'm gonna redeem him, I'm gonna put him back together. We're gonna repair all those cracks so that he can carry water, so that he can bring it to you as a vessel for the Spirit of the Most High. It's insane. I just told brother yesterday, I don't ever want to not be amazed by that. And the moment I am unamazed by that, I need to hang it up. And I'm proud to say I am still blown away that I get to do this. And that there are real people on the other end of this sideways iPhone, and that the Father, the Most High, can use his word through me to you to heal you, affect change in your life, and to bring blessings upon you. I'm amazed. So with that brief little introduction, welcome to Shabbat. I hope you guys had a great Erev Shabbat evening. And we're going to get into the Word. We're in Genesis 35. So you will remember last week we dealt with Simon and Levi basically slaughtering a whole city of men over the fact that their sister Dinah was raped, was humbled. And if you want my take on that, you can watch last week's video. But suffice it to say, I think they were morally and ethically justified, and I would have been right there with them. And so Jacob's concern was, look, man, we just wiped out a city of people. Don't you think there will be repercussions? This may not end well for us. And I think it goes without being said, yes, Simon and Levi, thank you for upholding the honor of your sister, defending her honor and slaughtering all these people. But actions have consequences. Now what? It is 23 degrees, by the way, 23. So, thank you, my laird and my lady, for the warmth of this coffee and the warmth of this jacket. I'm very thankful. And y'all need to stop being nice to me, okay? Okay, good. We're caught up. We're good for a decade. Now knock it off. Now, so in the context of that, the very first thing that we see in 35, Genesis 35, is, and Elohim, or Elohim, pick your pronunciation, just a corn-fed white boy reading a Hebrew word. So I'm not going to get a lot of these right. I rarely do, but that's okay. So Elohim said to Jacob, arise and go up to Bethel and dwell there and make us, because, yeah, get out of the land. Arise, get up, go. Because of all the trouble that had just occurred, okay? Or we could at least surmise because of all the trouble that has just occurred. And make a slaughter place there to El, who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Esau, your brother. Now remember, the Most High came to Jacob when he was running away from Esau because of, go back a couple videos and you can watch that. Because of the whole stolen birthright, stolen blessing, basically wrecking Esau's life. But really, Esau was unwilling to rise to the occasion anyway. He kind of had failure to launch syndrome, it appears. Looking contextually at the book, Esau wasn't too ready to take upon the yoke of leadership, and Jacob was all too ready to swindle it away from him. So, in any event, Jacob left, and the Most High appeared to Jacob. And so, they made a pact, they had an agreement. And Jacob said to his household and all who were with him, put away the foreign mighty ones that are among you, the idols, and cleanse yourselves and change your garments, and let us arise and go up to Bethel, and let me make there a slaughter place to El, who answered me in the day of my distress, and who has been with me in the way which I have gone. So the foreign mighty ones, remember, communal, Jacob, his sons, they just slaughtered and plundered this city, right? The city of whatever, Shechem and Hamor. Does it even tell us the name of the city? And here we go, 34:26, and they killed Hamor and Shechem, his son, with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house, and went out, and the sons of Jacob came upon and slain and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister. So, that city, they plundered it, and they have all these, this wealth and their foreign gods and the whole nine, and Jacob says, look, put that crap away, put it up, get rid of it. We're pulling stakes, we're moving out. The Most High said, we're moving out. Let us arise, this is 35:3, let us arise and go to Bethel, and make there a slaughter place to El, who answered me in the day of my distress, and has been with me in the way which I have gone. So they gave Jacob all of the foreign mighty ones, their idols, which were in their hands, and all their earrings, which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree, which was near Shechem. And they departed, and the fear of Elohim was upon the cities that were all around them, and they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. So basically, all these other cities that would have come and laid waste to Jacob and his household because of the slaughter that had just taken place, they had the fear of the Lord on them, and they did not. They didn't do it. Which is a good thing for Jacob. It's a good thing for the rest of us, because the God that we worship is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And one of the things that we rest our continued blessing on is the covenant that Jacob is a steward of. So it's a good thing that he didn't get slaughtered. So this son over here is like not being very cooperative. Okay. And Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. And he built there a slaughter place, and called the place El Bethel, because there Elohim appeared to him when he fled from the face of his brother. And Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died. Page turn. Can he do it? My fingers are a little cold. It is admittedly later in the morning than we normally do this, because it was 23 degrees when I woke up this morning. And it's probably just, truthfully, just below freezing right now. 31-ish, somewhere in there. But anywho. And she was buried below Beth El under the terebinth tree, and so the name of it was called Alan Bakuth. And Elohim appeared to Jacob again when he came from Padan Aram and blessed him. And Elohim said, your name is Jacob. Your name is no longer called Jacob, but Israel is your name. And so he called him Israel. And Elohim said to him, I am El Shaddai. Be fruitful and increase. A nation and a company of nations shall be from you, and sovereigns come from your body. Okay, continuation of the whole Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob thing. You know, like the sands of the earth, the stars of the sky, right? Many nations I'm going to make out of you. Remember, Abraham was old as dirt, right? When Sarah first conceived, he was like 100 and she was 90. And she laughed at God. She was like, I'm me. I'm going to have enjoyment. I'm after the time of a woman. And the father was like, believe me, I have the best fertility. Everybody tells me. So, things turn out okay for her. Let's see, you know what? We're going to see if we can do this in real time. Watch this, because this sun is being brutal. We have a ribbon, coffee, grab the ladder, and rotate. How about right there? Yes. Praise the Father. Coffee, back down, book, to the ribbon, like it never even happened. All right. Fabulous. So we get the whole continuation here of building nations, nation building, right? If you've followed American foreign policy for the last 50, 60, 80 years, this whole nation building thing is not new. The father started it with Abraham through Isaac and then Jacob. And so, now, 35:12, and the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac I give to you, and to your seed after you I give this land. Which, interestingly enough, was used as part of the justification in 1947 for the development of the modern nation-state of Israel. And Elohim went up from him in the place where he had spoken to him, and Jacob set up a standing column in the place where he had spoken with him, a monument of stone, and he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it, one for his homies. A little Old English 40. And Jacob called the name of the place where Elohim spoke with him Bethel. Then they set out from Bethel, and it came to be, when there was but little distance to go to Ephrath, that Rachel began to give birth, and had great difficulty giving birth. And it came to be, as she was having great difficulty giving birth, that the midwife said to her, do not fear, for it is another son for you. And it came to be, as her life was going out, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni, but his father called him Benjamin. So Rachel is birthing Benjamin and dies in the process. Remember, Jacob loved Rachel. Rachel is the one that he was after from jump, right? They had the moment when he first saw her. And he had that feeling, like just the boom, that one's for you. When he first saw her. Love at first sight. And so Rachel is his special. Leah, he's kind of tethered to. They don't love each other. They're husband and wife, but they don't love each other. But Rachel was special to him. So she dies while giving birth to Benjamin, aka Benjamin. 19. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem, not, maybe that would be Bethlehem? Probably. That makes sense. And Jacob, set a standing column on her burial place, which is the monument of Rachel's burial place to this day. And Israel set out and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eder. And it came to be when Israel dwelt in that land that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine. Well, that's nice. Jerry. And Israel heard about it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simon and Levi and Yehuda, Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun. And the sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's female servant, were Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's female servant, were Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Padan Aram. Sound familiar? 12 tribes of Israel? And it came to be, yada, yada, yada. Israel heard about it. And the sons of Jacob were 12. The 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob's other name was what? Israel? The 12 tribes of Israel? Okay. I'm just foundationally laying it out for you. If you ever wondered, well, where did that come from? Literally, Jacob is Israel, and he had 12 sons, and their names are the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. And listen, I'm going to be dead honest with you. When we get to 36, I'm going to plow because we get into begats, and you guys know how I feel about begats. I enjoy begatting a lot more than begats. I'll put it that way. Hashtag go team. TEEM. Google it. All right. And Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre, or Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the valley of Hebron. Remember, Isaac bought that land there. There was a cave. And the days of Isaac were 180 years. So Isaac breathed his last and died and was gathered to his people. I love that phrase. And was gathered to his people. Aged and satisfied of days, and his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. 3:6, Genesis 3:6. And this is the genealogy of Esau, who is Edom. We're going to plow. The thing to understand here is that Esau, his other name was Edom, or Edom, right? And the Edomites, or Edom, or whatever, pick your pronunciation, right? Whatever sounds good to you, Edom is Esau. And the Edomites, or the Edomites, all come from Esau. So that is the first part, the first word in this is, and this is the genealogy of Esau, who is Edom. And the last word is Esau, or the last line is Esau was the father of the Edomites. And everything in between there is begats. Are you ready? We're gonna plow. And if this is important to you, feel free to read along as you go. I know that this is important. It creates context and it explains some of the timeline and who came from where and the what for later on in the story. But these things, this portion of the Bible, for me, is like nails on a chalkboard. Oh, it's terrible. But we're men and women, and men and women, we do the hard things. We're adults. And as hard as this is going to be for me, we're going to get into some begats. So, here we go. Esau took his wives from the daughters of Canaan, even though he had been told explicitly not to, which was part of his failure to launch syndrome, that his daddy and his mommy were like, bro, we talked about this. You do not take daughters from the daughters of Canaan. Go see Uncle Laban. Yeah, he didn't. Okay. Adah, or Ada, the daughter of Elon, the guy who made the car. No. Elon the Hittite. And Oholibama, the daughter of Anna. Oh, not O Holy Night. Okay. Oholibama, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Siban, the Hivite. And Basemath, or Basamath, or Basemath, Ishmael's daughter. Ishmael, here he comes again. Remember Ishmael and Hagar and Abraham? Sarai, Hagar's not midwife, but lady servant was Hagar, and Sarai gave Hagar to Abraham to basically said, have your way with her, at least you'll have an heir, since I'm barren. Which once again, the father proved that fertility is his. So Hagar got knocked up by Abraham, and the offspring of that union was Ishmael, who was sent into the wilderness at age 17 when Isaac was born. Are y'all playing along in the home game? And Ishmael is the founding father, per se, if you ascribe to the Muslim way of thinking. And it's kind of begins the split there, because as much as they differ, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are all Abrahamic religions. And frankly, they're all wrong, because none of them do what this book says to do. I know those are tough words, but traditions of man, brothers and sisters, traditions of man. They all have grains of truth. They all have seeds of truth. A lot of them are built upon bedrock of truth. They just screwed up the rest of the construction process so bad that what you ended up with is nothing near what it started out with. So, Ishmael. And Basemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebaioth, and Adah bore Eliphaz to Esau, and Basemath bore Reuel. And Oholibama bore Yeush and Yalam and Korah. These were the sons of Esau who were born to him in the land of Canaan. And Esau took his wives and his sons and his daughters and all his belongings of his household and all his herds and all his beasts and all his possessions, everything. He took everything. Gosh, all the words. And went to a land away from the presence of his brother Jacob, for their possessions were too great for them to dwell together, and the land of their sojournings could not support them because of their herds. So Esau dwelt in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Okay, that's the third time they hit that in this chapter. And this is the genealogy of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These were the names of Esau's sons. Bueller, Eliphaz, son of Adah, wife of Esau, and Reuel, son of Basemath, wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Sepho, and Getam, and Kenaz. And Timah was the concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bore Amalek to Eliphaz. Amalek, remember that name. And these were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. These were the sons of Reuel, Naheth, and Zerah, and Shammah, and Mizah. And these were the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. These were the sons of Oholibama, Esau's wife, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Sion, and she bore to Esau Yeush, and Yaem, and Korah. Qorah, not Korah of the famous rebellion. Although maybe. I don't think so. No, because the Hebrews were in captivity for 400 years. Korah didn't live 400 years. No, not the same Korah. Okay, good. We got that sorted out. These were the chiefs of the sons of Esau, and the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn, the son of Esau, the chief Teman, chief Omar, chief Sepho. Chief Omar is a good name. Like, that should be like a rapper's name. Yo, Chief Omar, yo. I like that. I might just go buy that domain after this. Well, tomorrow, Don't do business on the Sabbath, but Chief Omar. I might start like a new identity as Chief Omar. Get like a logging chain hanging around my neck. It'd be good. All right. Chief Omar, where'd it go? Chief Sepho and Chief Kenaz. Chief Korah, Chief Getam, Chief Amalek. These were the chiefs of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. They were the sons of Adah. And these were the sons of Reuel, Esau's son, chief Nahath, chief Zerah, chief Shema, chief Mizah. These were the chiefs of Reuel in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Oholibamah, Esau's wife, chief Yeush, chief Yalam, chief Korah. These were the chiefs descending from Oholibamah, Esau's wife, the daughter of Anna. These are the sons of Esau, who is Edom, and these are their sons. And their sons are Sarah the Harite, who inhabited the land, Lotan, Shobal, Sebon, Anna, and Dishan, and Esther, and Dishan. And these were the chiefs of the Horites and the sons of Seir in the land of Edom. And the sons of Lotam were Horian, Hamam, and Lotan's sisters Timnah. And these were the sons of Shobal, Alwan, Manahath, Ibal. Shepho and Onam. And these were the sons of Sibon, Aya, and Anna, who found in the wilderness and fed his donkey, and fed the donkeys of his father, Sibon. And these were the children of Anna, Dishan, and Oholibamah, the daughter of Anna. And these were the sons of Dishan, Hamdan, Eshban, Yithran, and Karan. And these were the sons of Etzer, Bilhan, and Zawawan, and Akan. And these are the sons of Dishan, Utz, and Aran. And these were the chiefs of the Horites, chief Lotan, chief Shobal, chief Sibon, chief Anna, chief Dishan, chief Etzer, chief Dishan. And these were the chiefs of the Horites, according to their chiefs in the lands of Seir. And these were the sovereigns who reigned in the land of Edom before any sovereign reigned over the children of Israel. These were the kings before they had kings. Okay. And Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And Bela died, and Jobab, son of Zerah, of Botshrah, reigned in his place, and Jobab died, and Husham of the land of the Temanites reigned in his place, and Husham died, and Hadad, the son of Bedad, who struck Midian in the field of Moab, the Jeep, reigned in his place, and the name of the city was Avith, and Hadad died, and Samlah of the Maskarah reigned in his place, and Samlah died, and Shaul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his place, and Shaul, probably Saul, I'm guessing, this is all in the Hebrew, and Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, reigned in his place, and Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, died, and Hadar reigned in his place, and the name of the city was Pau, and his wife's name was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, the daughter of Mezahab. Oh my gosh. And these were the names of the chiefs of Esau. I don't blame you guys if you fast-forwarded through all of this. I would. I'm trying to, but my mouth will only go so fast. And these were the names of the chiefs of Esau, according to their clans of their place, by their names: Chief Timnah, Chief Alwa, Chief Yeheth, Chief Oholibamah, Chief Ella, Chief Pinion, Chief Kenaz, Chief Teman, Chief Mibstar, Chief Magdiel, Chief Iram. These were the chiefs of Edom, according to their dwelling places in the land of their possession. Esau was the father of the Edomites. Blech. We're not ending there. What a terrible way to end this. We just need to drink some coffee. Have I mentioned I hate the Begats? Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Alright, so, in case you didn't figure it out, Esau was the father of the Edomites. Okay, who was Esau? He was Edom, and the father of the Edomites. Okay. Everybody got that? Good. 3:7. Genesis 3:7. Oh my gosh. Why do they do that to us? I mean, I get it. I said, and I will continue to say, we're just going to read this book. That's the point. We're just going to read it from cover to cover. And however long it takes is however long it takes, and wherever the Spirit leads, that's where we're going to go. But we're going to read this book cover to cover. We're not that far into it. That's okay. We have as much time as the Father gives us to do this. And as of right now, it's about an hour a week, which is cool. I would encourage you guys to keep your nose in this book regardless of what day of the week it is and regardless of how much time that you have. But I hope that we can do this together every Shabbat, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So our time together is about an hour a week, but I would love it if you had your nose in your Bible daily. Just saying. Just saying. I'm saying that out of love. I don't judge. You guys do what you can. You might find like a good Bible study where you read, a few verses a day, a few chapters a day, but try and do things in context, because the stuff around what you're reading matters. So, which is why we just read a whole chapter of names that none of us are ever going to remember except for, oh, holy Bama. Now my ears are cold. All right. 3:7. And Jacob dwelt in the land of his father's sojournings in the land of Canaan. And this is the genealogy of Jacob. Joseph, luckily, it's really not. It's the beginning of the story of Joseph. He's had this awesome multicolored coat, and like all these like dancers and singers show up, and like all this stuff happens in the stage. And no, that's not what happens. Ish. This is the genealogy of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers, and the young man was with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. Now remember, well, you know what, it's going to tell us anyway. And Joseph brought an evil report of them to his father. He went back to his dad and talked trash. He's like, these guys suck. And Israel, Jacob, loved Joseph more than all of his children because he was the son of his old age. And he was his youngest son. Jacob was old, and he doted on him. The youngest child is usually spoiled, right? Usually. Not always, but usually. See what I did there? I gave you an out. If you're a youngest child, if you're like, I'm not spoiled, now you got the usually on your side. No, you're not spoiled. I'm just messing with you. The Father loves all people. Truthfully, truly. All right. Continue. And Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a long robe. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and were not able to speak peaceably to him. I could see that. Favoritism can be a real monster. And Joseph dreamed a dream and told it to his brothers, and so they hated him even more. And he said to them, please listen to this dream which I have dreamed. See, we were binding sheaves in the midst of the field, and see, my sheaf rose up and also stood up, and see, your sheaves stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf. So in his vision, right, they've got these bundles of wheat, and his is sticking up, and all of his brothers' sheaves are bent over, bowing to him. Obvious symbolism. And his brothers said to him, shall you indeed reign over us? Shall you indeed rule over us? And so they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed still another dream and related it to his brothers and said, see, I have dreamed another dream, and see the sun and the moon and the 11 stars bowed down to him. Bowed down to me, he said. So the sun, the moon, 11 stars. There's 12 children. He's got 11 brothers. He's got a mommy and a daddy. The sun and the moon and 11 stars. And he related it to his father and his brothers. And his father rebuked him and said, what is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall we, your mother and I and your brothers, indeed come to bow down to the earth before you? His dad was kind of like, what the hell, boy? Why would I bow to you? Which, I can see that. If Harlan came to me and was like, Dad, I had a dream. You will bow to me. Maybe in this context, I might be like, okay, the Father's beginning to work on him to do something important. But I'm going to tell you, there's a part of me that's going to be looking for a good stick. Bend over. We'll fix this. You know what I mean? It's just kind of a weird thing as a dad to have your kid go, you'll bow to me. Watch me, will I? Yeah, we'll see about that. And his brothers envied him, but his father guarded the word. And his brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said to Joseph, are not your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come, I send you to them. So he said to him, here I am. And he said to him, please go and see if it is well with your brothers and well with the sheep, and bring back word to me. So the older boys are out tending the sheep. And Joseph is told by his daddy, Israel, Jacob, go check on your older brothers and report back to me. You know, give me a sit rep. What's going on? Situation report. What's the deal? So he sent him out of the valley of Hebron and sent him to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and see, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, what do you seek? And he said, I am seeking my brothers. Please inform me where they are feeding their sheep. And the man said, they have left here, for I heard them say, let us go down to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. Couldn't find them. They weren't in the field they were supposed to be. He ran into a dude and was like, hey, man, you know where my brothers are? And he's like, yeah, they said they were going to Dothan. He's like, cool, thanks. So he goes to Dothan, and he finds them in Dothan. Okay. And they saw him from a distance, and before he came near them, they plotted against him to kill him. They're like, oh, this freaking kid. What are we going to do? Well, we'll kill him. Okay. And they said to each other, see, this master of dreams is coming. They're mocking him. Now then, come and let us now kill him and throw him into some pit, and shall say, some wild beast has devoured him. Let us then see what comes of his dreams. But Reuben heard and rescued him from their hands, and said, let us not strike his being. And Reuben said to them, shed no blood. Now remember, this is Reuben that shacked up with Bilhah, his daddy's wife's or maidservant lady. Yeah, he's wise, isn't he? Listen to the plan that Reuben hatches. We'll not kill him. We won't even lay hands on him. We'll just shed no blood. Throw him into this pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, in order to rescue him out of their hands and bring him back to his father. So it came to be, we'll just dig a hole and throw him in a pit. We won't kill him. We won't lay hands on him. We'll just dig a hole and throw him in a pit. Damn, Reuben, you're thoughtful. You're a nice guy, Reuben. You're a really, really nice guy. Anybody else you want to shack up with while we're digging this hole? You know, I mean, come on. And so it came to be, when Joseph had come to his brothers, that they stripped Joseph of his robe, the long robe which was on him, and they took him and threw him into a pit. And the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat a meal. And they lifted their eyes and looked, and saw a company of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead with their camels, bearing spices and balm and myrrh, going to take them down to Mitzrayim, to Egypt. Coffee. And Yehuda and Judah said to his brothers, what would we gain if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hands be upon him, for he is our brother, our flesh. How kind. We won't kill him. We won't even hurt him. We'll just sell him to the Ishmaelites. Thoughtful. Very thoughtful. Especially around this holiday season, you know. What could you get your brother for the winter holiday this year? How about sold into bondage? Yeah. These guys are great. You know, who needs enemies with friends like these? And his brothers listened. And men, Midianite traders, passed by. So they pulled Joseph up and lifted him out of the pit, and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. 20 pieces of silver. There's kind of a parallel here between this. His brothers sold him into bondage for 20 pieces of silver. And now remember, we're going to see here Joseph is instrumental into the continued, I don't even want to use the vitality, just the survival of the line of Abraham. Okay, and then you have the renewed covenant made by the mediator of the renewed covenant and the Messiah, who's sold out by Judas Iscariot for 30 pieces of silver. So there's some parallels here that one could draw, right? 20 pieces of silver, 30 pieces of silver. You know, in a lot of ways, there's some redemptive qualities to what Joseph is going to enact going forward. Not near the work of atonement that the Messiah does, There's only one. There's only one anointed of the Most High, and his name was Yeshua ben Joseph, or Jesus the Christ, whatever you prefer. I like Yeshua. Yehoshua, Joshua, salvation, the anointed of Yahweh. But there's some parallels here. So, and they sold him for 20 pieces of silver, and they took Joseph to Mitzrayim, to Egypt. And Reuben returned to the pit, and see, Joseph was not in the pit, and he tore his garments. Yeah, because somebody else yanked him out of the hole. His brothers, they put him in the hole. They go lay down to have lunch, and they're like, hey, here come some traders. Cool. Well, you know what? We'll just sell them to the traders. That's a good idea. Hand me another sheep bone. Yummy. Cool. And so while all this is going on, these Midianite traders pass by. They pull Joseph out, and they sell him for 20 pieces of silver. Okay. And so when Reuben goes back to the pit, loving, caring, good steward Reuben goes back to the pit, there's nobody there. Joseph was not in the pit, and he tears his garments, because now they were going to kill him. No, we won't kill him. We'll just sell him to slavery. Okay, that's cool, but now they lost him. He's gone. They have his robe, but they don't have him. So they took Joseph's robe, slew a male goat, and dipped the robe in the blood, and sent the long robe and brought it to their father and said, we have found this. Please look, is it the robe of your son or not? And he recognized it and said, it is my son's robe. An evil beast has devoured him. Joseph is torn to pieces. And Jacob tore his garments and put sackcloth on his waist and mourned for his son for many days. And all his sons and all his daughters arose to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, now let me go down to Sheol to my son in mourning. And his father wept for him. And the Midianites had sold him into Mitzrayim to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and captain of the guard. So now Joseph ends up in Egypt. There's some obvious parallels here, right? If your life is falling apart, if all of your brothers have turned on you, they've stripped you to the bone, thrown you in a pit, think of the symbolism there. You're at the lowest point of your life. That's often when the Most High does his best work, right? I was just talking with a brother and sister yesterday about how a lot of times he has to just completely, he being the Most High, has to just completely beat you into submission so that you allow yourself to be molded again, right? So you can be moved. And in this case, Joseph is physically moved from where he is at to where he is needed so that he can be of service to the Most High to facilitate for his jerk brothers. But that's necessary, right? The Father took him from where he was to where he was needed. He moved him. It's another thing we talked about yesterday as well. So there's some obvious parallels here. So we could make hay from this all day. That'll preach, as they say, right? Even when you're at the lowest point of your life, if you just move forward in confidence, knowing that the Most High has you, he didn't bring you this far so he could abandon you, right? As long as you don't abandon him, he won't abandon you. Obedience brings blessing. You just keep doing what the Father tells you to do, and you will get through it. And look at this tragedy that Joseph is going through. He's having his life wrecked by his brothers. And what ends up happening? He uses the gifts that he is given by the Most High in service to the Most High to facilitate for the Most High. And he plays a pivotal role in humanity. And not that long ago, he was at the bottom of a damn pit naked, betrayed by all of his brothers. It happens. Let's go one more. 3:8, Genesis 3:8. And at that time it came to be that Judah left his brothers and turned aside to a man, and Adulamite, whose name was Hirah. And Yehuda saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua, and he took her and went into her. And she conceived and bore a son and called his name And she conceived again and bore a son and called his name Onan. And she conceived yet again and bore a son and called his name Salah. And he was at Kezib when she bore him. And Yehuda took a wife for his firstborn, and named her Tamar. But Yehuda's firstborn, was evil in the eyes of Yahweh, and Yahweh took his life. And Yehuda said to Onan, go into your brother's wife and marry her, and raise up an heir to your brother. And Onan knew that the offspring would not be his, and it came to be when he went into his brother's wife that he spilled on the ground, lest he should give an offspring to his brother. But what he did displeased Yahweh, so he took his life too. Something to think about there. Then Yehuda said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow in your father's house until my son Salah is grown. For he said, lest he also die as his brothers did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. And after a long time the daughter of Shua, Yehuda's wife, died. And Yehuda was comforted and went up to his sheep shearers in Timnah, he and his friend Hira the Adulamite. And it was reported to Tamar, saying, see, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear sheep. And she took off her widow's garments and covered herself with a veil and wrapped herself and sat at the entrance to Enaim, which was on the way to Timnah. For she saw that Salah was grown, and she was not given to him as a wife. So she's kind of turned into like a concubine or a slave at this point, right? She's stuck there. Salah's grown. She's not been given for a wife, yet here she is. And Yehuda saw her and reckoned her for a whore, for she had covered her face. And he turned aside to her by the way and said, please let me come into you. For he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, what do you give me to come in to me? And he said, let me send you a young goat from the flock. And he said, do you give me a pledge until you send it? So he said, what pledge should I give you? And she said, your seal and your cord and your staff that is in your hand. And he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him. Jerry Springer, bro. This could potentially be Ricky Lake level. Just, man, Hebrews, keep it in your pants. Like, I know hashtag go team, but oh, look, a whore. Hey, I will trade you a young goat for some fun time. Oh, sounds good. Come on, people. I know, a man's got needs, but really? Your own daughter-in-law? Well, I didn't know. She had her face covered. Still, bro. I was just talking with somebody yesterday about how the Father always preserves a remnant, but if you ever expected it to look like this traditional American family, 2.4 kids, white picket fence, nuclear family, everything's, perfect. That is not the story that we have here in this Bible. It's just a bunch of messed up people doing messed up things, and the Father repeatedly meeting them where they are at, getting them through it. And that should give us hope in this day and age, that you think what you've done is bad. Did you ever impregnate your daughter-in-law who was dressed up as a whore so and traded a goat for it? My guess is no. My guess is you've never done that. So, now if you did, that's okay. You need to atone for your sins, ask forgiveness. We are covered by the blood of Messiah. But just understand that this whole, Martha Stewart image that we have in our minds of how life should be, it's rarely that way. That is not the story of these people we have in this book. Okay. And she arose and went away and removed her veil and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Yehuda, Judah, sent the young goat by the hand of his friend the Adulamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he did not find her. And he asked the men of that place, saying, where is the cult prostitute who was beside the way to Enaim? And they said, there was no cult prostitute in this place. And he returned to Yehuda and said, I have not found her. And the men of the place said, there was no prostitute in this place. He's like, look, she ain't there, dude. And not only that, there's no hooker on this road. Dun, dun, dun. Something's moving in the woods over there. And Yehuda said, let her take them for herself, lest we become despised. For I sent this young goat, and you have not found her. And it came to be about 3 new moons after, about 3 months or so, that Judah was informed, saying, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has whored, and see, she has conceived by whoring. And Judah said, bring her out and let her be burned. You know, look, let's just address this strange double standard now. I understand that in a lot of ways, there's a patriarchy and a patriarchal. There's a system of patriarchy throughout the Bible. I get it. I get it. However, on what planet in a relationship between a man and a woman, any relationship between a man and a woman, would it be okay if I go out and sleep with a whore, and that's cool, but my wife goes out and acts like a whore, and that's not cool? Maybe I don't get it. That's entirely possible. But I think it's a BS double standard. Now, I understand that these women were under the protection of their male leadership, their household. I get that. In a lot of ways, it's the same way the Middle East is today. But we look at the barbarism that is the Middle East today and we go, that's wrong. And so, in a lot of ways, I can see what's going on here, where this dude, Judah, just went and laid his seat into the belly of a hooker, right? And that's cool. But just being a hooker, conceiving by being a hooker, will kill her. Yeah, just, anyway, let's keep reading. And when she was brought out, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant. Aha. And she said, please examine whose these are, the seal and the cord and the staff. And Judah examined and said, she has been more righteous than I, because I did not give her to Salah my son. Uh-huh. And he never knew her again. There were no more teaming from that point forward. And it came to be at that time for giving birth that, see, twins were in her womb. And it came to be when she was giving birth that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took a scarlet thread and bound it on his hand, saying, this one came out first. And it came to be as he drew back his hand that, see, his brother came out. And she said, how did you break through? This breach be upon you. So his name was called Peretz. And afterward his brother came out, who had the scarlet thread on his hand, so his name was called Zerah. And then from there we pick up the story of Joseph yet again at 39, but that's going to do it for us today. What are our takeaways here? Number one, begatzing is a lot more fun in person than it is reading about it several thousand years later. So, I don't know. Not a fan. Number two, life back then, when there was no YouTube or television or podcasts or, hell, they barely had books, right? They had scrolls, but that was about it, and most people couldn't read. What did people do for fun? They would herd sheep and, hey, look, a hooker on the side of the road. Okay. So there were a lot of Jerry Springer type situations, and we read about them over and over again in this book. So this idea that we have, and I'm really talking about this construct of man, of what a good Christian looks like. You know, we have this idea of what a good Christian should be. And in a lot of ways, it's true. And it's tough, right? That's why we have a Messiah, because we can't, and it's not just the 613 Old Testament laws, a lot of which we can't keep anymore anyway, because we don't have a temple and da-da-da-da-da. But the expectations of mankind. And we all sin, we all fall short of the mark. Yup. What's the mark? Well, the mark's Torah, and when you can't keep Torah, you have Messiah to cover up your sins. He's atoned for your sins. Yup. Okay, but just the day-to-day, like being a prim, proper person, there's very little of that in the Bible. Very little of that. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's just really not there. Very few upstanding people in the Bible. It's one of the reasons that Yeshua just shines like a light throughout this entire book. Wherever you find him, it's like, yeah, that guy's obviously the anointed of Yah, because look at the rest of us. We're a freaking mess. Like, I don't know how, and obviously there were a lot of different people claiming to be Messiah before, during, and after the time of Yeshua. There's still, to this day, people that claim to be the prophesied Messiah for the Jews, the Hebrews. But I don't think, how blind would you have to be to see this guy doing everything right and not think that's the guy? That's the guy. And he's going around saying, didn't Isaiah tell you about me? If you knew the words of Moses, surely you would know me. Over and over again, he's throwing it in their face going, bro, I'm right here. Who are you? I am that I am. We're looking for Yeshua of Nazareth, Yeshua ben Joseph. I am he. Like, this guy is just dropping bombs left and right, and people are, we're just looking for the Messiah. We don't know where he is. I am he. But this perfection standard that even today is perpetuated in the church, it's like no wonder. Because since the dawn of time, we have sucked as people at certain things. We're just not that great at a lot of things. And we create this false standard for ourselves and for everybody else when historically and scripturally it doesn't exist. If it existed, we wouldn't need the atonement. We wouldn't need a mediator of the renewed covenant to stand in the gap as our intercessor in between us and the judgment of the creator of the universe, because we'd be good. But we're not good. Occasionally, our light shines really bright. Occasionally, we can carry lots of water, even as a broken vessel. But most days, all I've got is a thimbleful just for myself. Most days, my light is like one match. Some days, it's like a million suns. But if I had to be judged on my best day, I'd still never compare to Yeshua. I'd still never reach the standard set for us by the Most High, let alone we set for ourselves in this stupid traditions of man in the church and the temple and the synagogue. And it's no wonder that Christians and Jews and Mormons and everybody else feels unfulfilled after a time of trying to walk with their Messiah or trying to find their Messiah, because you figure out real quick, this stuff sucks. I suck as a person. Like, yeah, I felt fulfilled, but I don't anymore. Now what? Well, the now what's tough. Like, the now what, that's where people get jammed up, and that's where a lot of people walk away from the church. It's where I walked away from the church. It's like, all I've got is a self-help seminar every week. I'm not being fed, I'm not being led. And then the realization that it's nobody's responsibility but mine to be fed and to be led. That's my job. Reading the Bible is my job. Discerning the Father's will for my life is my job. Keeping His commandments to the best of my ability is my job. Being thankful every day for grace, for the atoning blood of the Messiah, the anointed of the Most High, creator of the universe, is my job. Even with all my brokenness, even though I suck as a human being, even though on my best day, I will never be anything more than a half-lit match compared to the brightness of a million suns of our Messiah. Even so, all this is my job. And who the Father uses to do his work has always been broken people. And that's all this book is a story of broken people. And we do ourselves a disservice of trying to hold ourselves to this temporal idea of perfection through the blood of Yeshua. Because we're saved, we're born again. Doesn't mean you don't try. But don't try to look good to the person sitting next to you in the pew on Sunday morning. Try and look good to the Creator of the universe, who can number every hair on your head. That's what matters. And this book, we birdwalked all over the place in whatever this final segment is, but this book is just a story. A series of stories of where the Creator of the universe has gone out of his way over and over and over again to meet his children where they are so that they can have a powerful and lasting relationship based upon love and obedience, fully knowing they're not perfect. And yet he loves us anyway. So I guess that's my takeaway for what we've read today. That's where it brings me, that's where my mind goes with this, is you might be in the deepest, darkest hole you've ever been in, stripped naked and abused by your brothers, yet God has a plan for you. And it will manifest itself in time. And you just need to be obedient to the still small voice and do the will of the Father and embrace the fact that you're broken, but you're made whole by the atoning blood of Yeshua. So, shalom, y'all.